Well, welcome to this Friday's Staying Connected with the Dean, this 24th day of September. I'm the Very Reverend Anne Mills. Well, as we continue to gather virtually for at least another 2 weeks, can I remind you that while the Cathedral precinct is closed, the staff continue to work from home and are available by email or cell phone, but on reduced hours. Staff are working and being paid at 80% of their time. Our services virtually will continue on Tuesday and Thursday nights at 6 p.m. with evening prayer and 10 a.m. on a Sunday morning. And of course, every Friday while we are in level 3 and 4 lockdown, I will be offering you some thoughts and any news that we have on a Friday as today. Just some information to remind you, our gathering in person for worship will commence at level 2 when the gathering numbers are at 100. There will be no singing until level 1. Remember also the importance of vaccinations and do play your part in encouraging people to be vaccinated, as it is a key part of the country's strategy to move away from these lockdowns. All the staff in the office have been vaccinated, so can I encourage you to do your part as well. Thank you to those who continue to keep in touch with one another during this time. If you or someone you know are feeling disconnected from the cathedral or would appreciate a call, please don't hesitate to contact me and let me know, and I will happily respond to this request. One of the things about lockdown is that I have a little bit more time to read, which I am truly valuing. And during this week, I was reading an article in the Church Times, which was an interview by Madeline Davis with the Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby. It was entitled Daily Fed and Guided in Sacrament. It covered his time during the COVID pandemic last year in the UK, where he became the chaplain for St Thomas's Hospital in London, where for a period each day he would go and pray with the dying. He talked about his recent sabbatical, where he spent time writing a book on reconciliation, and he spoke about the place of parish churches in the Church of England and the declining numbers of church-goers. Part of that, which I'm going to share with you, I found a really interesting reflection as part of the interview. He said, as Madeline, who conducted the interview, wrote, the Archbishop mentioned recently that he had been reading Faith Formation in a Secular Age, a book by Andy Root, a Lutheran professor of youth and family ministry, which draws on the work of Charles Taylor. One of the arguments is that people today continue to have strange transcendent experiences, but lack the religious framework in which to place them. The question was asked of the Archbishop, how would you rate the spiritual temperature of this country? He said, I don't think there is a spiritual temperature. I think in this country there are roughly 65 million spiritual temperatures. One of the clergy, in fact, this morning said to me, the rumour of God in this part of London is still very strong. So the spiritual temperature is high, he said. A lot of what we are doing is just helping people find the vocabulary to express it. He refers to Dad's army. It's not that we are doomed, it's a case of don't panic, Mr. Mannering. The US religious journalist Jonathan Merritt has argued that it is getting harder to talk about God, that sacred speech and spiritual conversation are in decline, basic moral and religious words. A poll that he commissioned found that just 13% of practicing Christians had a spiritual conversation around once a week. In England, the 1 million lay people who regularly attend the Church of England services are being encouraged to become agents of mission. Can the Archbishop understand why it may feel difficult to talk about God in a society in which the language and vocabulary has become increasingly alien to many people? It can feel that there is a huge chasm. He said, but there isn't a huge chasm when they see a community that loves one another, that feeds the poor, that is present in every community. Feeding, loving, and caring for those in need, being alongside people in hospitals, having chaplains in the armed services. What will make a difference, he says, is if we continue to encourage people that the essentials in the church are that you love God and you love people. It's not complicated, he insists. It's unbelievably hard work, but it's not complicated. Yes, there's a problem with vocabulary, so we need to speak human and not Christian the whole time. We need to be able to explain very briefly why we are Christians, and people won't always understand it, but they will understand when they come to church because they have been bereaved, or they are just puzzled about things, or they just want to see what the building looks like, and someone's really friendly and doesn't lecture them or sermonize, but just chats to them, and they think, oh, they're really nice. There is something about that place. The Archbishop turns 65 this year. Bishops must retire at or before 70. His priorities for his next stretch haven't changed, he says. It's prayer and religious community. It's reconciliation and learning to be people of incredible diversity, disagreement, passionate love for each other, and passionate love for the world around us. He says, I'm just more and more convinced of something I've always believed, that the core of the church's witness and evangelism is a community of normal people who can talk normally about their faith to those they love. I wonder what you think about what Justin Welby is offering us. It certainly has given me some food for thought, confirmed much of what I believe, and challenged me to be a little bit more reflective and action-oriented in the way that I too explore and express my faith to those around me and those whom I love. I wonder if it will change the way that you offer your knowledge of God and your deep faith and the love that God has for you and for each one of us. So until next time, may God bless you and keep you. May God's face shine upon you and bring you peace. With every blessing,